Don't forget to comment.
No, don't comment. Mike Agerbo here in studio. I've got John Biehler with me today. We've got an awesome show. So much to talk about. Later on the program, we'll be chatting with Igor Bonifacic from Engadget.
Yes.
He's moved up in the world.
He definitely has.
He's going to tell us all about Quips. It's an ALS voice tool for ALS sufferers. It is amazing technology, and we want to get the lowdown on that. We'll also be talking with Ted Kritsonis, our favorite tech journalist out of Toronto. He's got a review on the THERAGUN. This is a special massager that you can get to help alleviate pain and so many other things. Great for people that are into sports or having different types of chronic muscle pain as well. This thing is amazing. Have you tried one?
Yes. It's shockingly powerful.
It certainly is. You got to use it the right way. Well, we'll get Ted to tell us all about that. We will also be talking to the folks over at Plastibank. We'll be talking with Shaun Frankson, an interesting organization to get people to help pick up and recycle plastic, especially in developing countries, by paying them.
Yeah.
It is all kinds of awesome. Okay. Let's talk about some of the news here on GetConnected. This week, a number of tech companies have actually gone and spoke at Congress at a judiciary hearing about some of the tech giants and unfair business practices. So some of the smaller guys include Sonos, PopSocket.
Yeah.
Those are those little things you stick on the back.
Are they really a tech company, though?
Sure. Basecamp, a software company, and Tile.
Yeah.
And so they're alleging the big guys like Amazon, Google, and Apple are keeping them down. So Sonos, I think they filed a lawsuit against Google that said Google is infringing on some of their patents for their wireless speakers. For those that don't know what Sonos is, amazing company. I've had their products for, I think, 12, 13 years now. They make multi-room audio easy. They've got fantastic speakers and solutions to get audio into all aspects of your home. I love them and have used them for years. But they say that companies like Google make it hard for them. They're basically telling Congress that companies like Google can come in and just dominate the space by creating a similar product and then undercutting everyone. And because they make billions, they can afford to do that.
Well, they can have a loss later and not even worry about it and completely kill off an entire industry almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was interesting with Basecamp. They're basically complaining that Google's not a search engine company anymore. It's an ad company. When people search for the Basecamp software, they're inundated not with their software listing right away. There's all sorts of competitor ads above that, which, you know what? I think they've got a point there. Do you know what I mean? Like to be able to survive in business now, you have to pay like the Googles of the world to even get listed.
But, is that just the cost of doing business, though? Because if you search for the new iPhone, you're going to be inundated by Samsung ads.
Yeah.
I mean, that's smart practices by those companies to get their eyeballs, in their favor as well.
They're basically saying all their money's going towards just getting their competitors' listings down.
Right. But also...
Is that fair?
You also have to argue, too, that something like Basecamp, which, the name itself is a pretty generic term. So it's harder for a company with a more generic term to really bubble up in the best of times, let alone when there's strong competition in that particular space like Basecamp operates in.
So they're calling Google's system a shakedown for businesses. I'd love it. Also, the pop sockets. And again, these are the little sticky things you stick on the back of your phone or phone case, and you can basically just kind of have a couple fingers hold your phone.
Yeah, I hate them.
I don't know if I'm describing those things properly. Very popular with women, I found.
Yeah, because they don't want to drop their phones.
They're smarter than we are.
Yeah.
All our guy screens are cracked all the time. They're saying that they're complaining about the relationship with Amazon, saying that Amazon's bullying them with a smile, that Amazon had dragged its feet on addressing a whole bunch of counterfeited products, and then unilaterally lowered prices on pop socket products and demanded the company pay back the loss.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. And so they're saying they're having a hard time with that because Amazon is such a dominant player now. Their next, biggest bricks and mortar retailer, Walmart, basically does like 1/38 of the business of Amazon. So, I mean, they can basically wipe them out if they don't play ball with Amazon.
But it was not too long ago, though, people were saying that about Walmart as well.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to get into Walmart. And if you did get into Walmart, you had to, basically give your products to them at a huge loss just to get them on the shelves.
Okay, so the next story I want to talk about, John, and it's near and dear to my heart. It's Sonos. We just talked about them. They are basically killing support for their older products.
Now, this is something that I found really interesting and fascinating. And when we put this in our rundown for the show, I put in brackets, Mike will be sad.
Yes.
Because you talk about it all the time, how great Sonos is and the fact that you've had them for such a long period of time. They interoperate very well and they just work. And soon they're not going to just work, or at least they're not going to just update.
That's the thing. And I have a lot of their old stuff here. So if you've got older Play 5s or some of their Connect amps, and Google it, there'll be a list there. They're going to stop sending updates to it. And so the problem is if you've got your old stuff and newer Sonos gear, sure, they're not going to make those old ones stop working, but the new ones won't get any updates going further.
How often do you get updates, though, for those devices? Or
they
is it
update
seamless?
them all. Well, they update them all the time.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not some revolutionary new feature. I mean, when they added the voice assistant stuff, yeah,
that was a big deal.
That was a big deal, but it's freaking me out, man.
Yeah.
Because I invested thousands of dollars in this. And some people are saying, you know what, Mike, some of your gear is 12 years old. But that's what I love about Sonos, that I've got this 12-year-old technology and it's as good as the day I bought it.
And that is an interesting angle, though, because we've talked about, I use Amazon smart speakers for everything.
Yeah. And
they're low cost, easy to deploy. You have a much larger investment in your Sonos, but there's no question I don't think I have 13 years with my Echo Dot.
No. You'll be okay after a few years.
Yeah.
But you only spent like, $70 on it.
$30.
$30. Okay, shut up. When we come back from the break here on Get Connected, we'll be talking with Plastibank, a company, an organization that's helping get rid of the plastic in the world by paying developing countries' citizens to pick it up out of the water and the land and bring it in for recycling. We have a super interesting guest with us today. His name is Shaun Frankson. He is with an organization called Plastibank, and this is a company that basically helps keep plastic out of our oceans. And thanks for joining us, by the way, Shaun. Tell our listeners what Plastibank is all about and how you're keeping the plastic out of the oceans.
Perfect. Yeah, so we help fight ocean plastic while reducing global poverty by making plastic waste a currency. So we do this by setting up ethically sourced recycling ecosystems in developing countries where people can earn a fair wage, a special bonus on top of the market price, where they can start working towards a better life where recycling is just a starting point, where we can dignify recycling, have ethically sourced recycling chains, then companies like SC Johnson and their Windex bottle can use a social plastic knowing that it's giving back to the communities and giving back to the people in those communities to have a responsible way of using plastic.
What's an example of a developing country that this is working in right now?
Yeah, so we're currently in Haiti, Philippines, Indonesia, Brazil, just expanding into Egypt, and
so a few.
just a couple, and hope to be in a lot more next year.
So what plastic could those people bring to a recycling center?
Yeah, it depends on the location, and we recycle all materials too, so any recyclable material of value that can be resold in those local ecosystems is what gets sold. We specifically resell the PET, the HDPE, the LDPE, and we kind of phase in.
Those are all plastics.
All plastics.
Okay, yeah.
So, plastic bottles, plastic jugs, the bags and different things in every country, we try to phase in how can all plastic have value and get reused in a new life.
And do they get a lot of money for this?
Yeah, so for quite often, especially in a lot of the countries we deal with, someone's, like somewhere like Haiti, 75% of people are living under the poverty line, often zero income. So, someone can go from making $1 a day to $5, $7 a day.
Which is a lot there.
And it's a lot there. In every country, it depends on the economics. And it's not always just about the poorest people in the world. We look everywhere. There's different areas of how do we close the loop? how do we bring an intrinsic value that anyone and anywhere in the world realizes plastic isn't garbage. Plastic has value, and it's really too valuable ever to end in the ocean.
How much plastic have you recycled? Do you have numbers on that?
Yeah, so we're at about 15 million pounds right now. We recycle over 1 million kilos a month, so just over 2 million pounds. And, about 3 months ago, it was 500,000. Now it's 1 million. And we are kind of on that fun exponential growth curve right now.
How do you make money?
Yeah, so we make money, and we are a proud social enterprise.
Yeah.
So we're self-sustaining in the way we set up everything. And we sell the plastic as a broker. So SC Johnson buys our plastic to use in Windex. Other great companies like Henkel use it in their products. And it's a combination of they either buy the plastic, they fund the ecosystem. So a lot of companies that make commitments that we're going to use 100% recycled plastic have then realized the supply chains for recycled plastic, it's really hard to get guaranteed supply chains. Even harder to find something that's an ethically sourced, like blockchain-proof, audible supply chain as we have. And this then allows us to be able to sell the activations where we can expand the infrastructure to have plastic bank certified ecosystems, then supply that supply chain, and then a couple other creative revenue streams as well.
So you mentioned a number of very specific types of plastic that you use for the various bottles and things like that, like with the Windex and that type of thing. What do you do with the other types of plastic and maybe the other non-pure pieces of material that you would get in from the various recycling centers?
Yeah, so it really depends region by region, but normally once a collector brings in the plastic, they'll bring it to a plastic bank where it's all sorted by type, by color. They get more value when it's sorted. They're able to deposit the value that they get. We offer digital savings where they can instantly redeem that or save it or cash it out safely in the ecosystem. And the different plastic types, so usually there's some form of a commodity market for different recyclable materials. So anything that we're not buying, it goes to that commodity market. And then we just look at that fun challenge of, in every community, what is the next thing to tackle? Of how do we find how these sachets can have value? So we start with the existing markets and then really get our sales team to get creative. How could we find a market for the materials that are, being disposed of in residuals?
And just to clarify, you're not actually like grinding up the plastics. You're just selling or collecting and selling the collective pile of the same types of plastic to the various channels.
So we technically kind of operate as like an Airbnb of recycling, where we partner with the existing processing partners who flake it and bale it. And they almost become like a franchisee where we then certify the ecosystems around them. And when we have this special kind of bonus payment where everyone makes a little bit more for doing it the right way, we have a digital application where everything's entered, everybody's registered, it's all transparent. There's no child labor, and there's just something in it for everyone, which means there's a reason for them to do it the right way, which our suppliers need this like audit-proof supply chain. But we just have a way that anyone can become certified to qualify to play a part. They make more, the collectors make more. And a key thing as well, instead of us coming in and competing with local ecosystems, which can be very dangerous in a lot of countries.
Yeah, no kidding.
We have a way to just enroll everyone. And again, it's follow the rules.
Yeah.
You make more, break the rules, and it costs more to cheat the
So you would
system.
work with existing recycling centers.
Exactly. So whenever
And
possible,
you certify them.
Exactly.
So
And
that's more money for them.
Exactly. In a country like Haiti, where there's no starting point in a lot of the communities, we create it from scratch. But where there is an existing ecosystem, we really just try to raise the dignity, raise that level, and really bringing dignity to recycling is a key part of everyone seeing recycling as something that everyone should be doing in these countries.
But I have to ask again, I'm just trying to understand the whole model. Like, can you afford to do this? Like, how much money can you give out to collect this plastic? Like, are these partners of yours giving you enough cash to do that?
Yeah, so, we're a profitable business. We have a team of 75 around the world. We'll be over 200 by the end of next year. And a key thing is, especially, one of the ironies where we have a blockchain ID, blockchain savings account. A lot of our model is to remove some of the middlemen involved in recycling, where we can put that value straight to the people collecting. So from our point of our clients, it's almost the same price of buying new plastic. But instead, we can just guarantee that that person on the end is not being treated as a supply chain. Because when you negotiate something to the ground and then be transparent on the price, quite often people won't be proud of what that person collecting plastic was making. But, even just shifting that focus to a collector first mentality of how do we have it's quite common, any supply chain in the world now, it's got to be audit proof without a company getting in trouble or else they've got to change it. And it's just been something for plastic that you've been allowed to have hidden supply chains. So when we really define what is the gold standard of an ethically sourced, transparent, audit-proof supply chain, this is what really raises the ability to just pay the people more. And from the point of our partners, it's usually they need the reporting, they need everything, so it becomes near the same cost of what they're paying anyways. Sometimes there's a slight premium as we phase in, but then economies of scale really bring it to be they need secured supply chains. They need to have the story and the ability to showcase the impact they're doing. They need to have the real-time automated reporting. And once you put all of that in, it ends up being the same price or less from what they were doing before.
Is there any plans to have this type of a model in North America?
Yeah, it's something we're definitely excited about looking in. It's, it's incredibly, every country is really incredibly different. Like Haiti is not the same as Philippines, which is not the same as Brazil. We do have a program now where people can bring bottles into the Return It system in Vancouver. And instead of taking the 5 cents or the 10 cents now, they can have it go towards reducing ocean plastic. So that's something, but it's something we're looking at. As we build in our team, it's just got to have these new unique systems. We do work with the school programs where schools can set up recycling systems where the funds from the plastic then go towards removing ocean poverty. And we also work sometimes with the churches and the faith groups of how could those communities be a source where plastic comes in, it gets recycled. And a lot of it's in North America is even just that awareness that it's not garbage.
Just taking it out of, the streets or the landfills and that type of thing and treating it differently, like you said, like a commodity.
Exactly. And we also have programs, which is most popular in Europe and North America, where an individual or a company can go plastic neutral, or as we even say, go plastic positive, go beyond, extract more than what you're using. So we have ways that someone can have more plastic extracted through our programs in the countries around the world where it's needed most. So, as every individual or every company works on how do I reduce my plastic usage, reduce my footprint, I can still ensure I extract more than I use. And to me, that's becoming what the new social good consumer and really, almost a new person is looking at how can I give more to the planet than I take.
Shaun, I want to thank you for joining us today. If someone wants to get more involved with you folks or partner up or see how they can get this going in their school or church or business, where can they contact you?
You go to plasticbank.com and then someone can even calculate their own plastic footprint and find the best path of purpose that they can play.
That was Shaun Frankson. He is the co-founder and CTO of Plastic Bank. And again, at plasticbank.com, you can find more information. When we come back from the break, more tech to talk here on Get Connected. Well, I love how technology really helps the whole health and wellness side as well. We're going to talk about a cool percussive massage therapy device. You might have seen their commercials on TV or online. It's for those THERAGUNs. They look kind of like little massage guns.
They look like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yes.
That would shoot lasers.
But in this case here, it's helping your muscles. We've got our good friend Ted Kritsonis on the line from Toronto, and he's had a chance to actually try them out, and we're going to get his thoughts on it. Thanks for joining us, Ted.
Always glad to be here, guys.
So I've seen these commercials a number of times, and it looks cool. So we would love to get your thoughts today on it. Explain to the listeners how this thing works and kind of what it looks like.
Well, first of all, I described it in my review as a cross between a power drill and a kitchen mixer. When you look at this thing and then you see how it works, those are like the two things that kind of come to mind, and there's a reason for that too, because there is a significant amount of power here. Like you have, there are two settings. So there's a fast setting and then there's a slow setting. So the fast setting has basically, 40 percussive thrusts per second. The slower one has 29, and this is 60 pounds of force that is pushing that arm forward, right? So it's a pretty powerful device, and you can kind of see it when you look at the videos online. They do them in slow motion in some cases too, and you just see the way the muscles just it's like sound waves, just kind of flapping, and so. The device is, now I reviewed the G3 Pro, so I reviewed the top of the line model. There are 3 different models that THERAGUN offers. The one I reviewed is the best one, but there are 2 that are also lower priced. There are some differences between them, but because I haven't tried those ones, I don't know exactly how different they would be as far as the operations and the results would be. So that being said, basically the concept here is that you have 6 different attachment tips. They are different designs, and the idea is that you would be able to really hone in on wherever the pain point is, or maybe you have a knot, maybe you have, you're sore after a run, whatever it is that you have, you can kind of hone in with the right tip, and sort of the right cadence, not cadence, but I guess the right amount of pressure, when you apply it.
Ted, I have to ask you, because I've had a chance to try this out. Is it safe? Like, could you hurt yourself with this thing?
Well, you got to be careful, right? Because I'm sure as you tried it too, you saw how powerful it is.
It is super powerful.
Not to mention that it's loud,
yeah.
Right? It's loud too. Like, so it's.
You're not doing this on the bus.
No.
Yeah, no. So you got to be a little careful with this thing, and that's why the app is actually really good. Even though the app doesn't have video tutorials, the photos and the written component is actually quite good at laying out what you should and shouldn't do, especially how, where you should focus your efforts on the body, depending on what it is that you're trying to help with. So in that regard, as long as you follow the guidelines, then you should be okay. And then naturally, of course, you just know your own body. So if you feel like, oh, that's a little bit too much pressure, you can always just, lay off a little bit. And you don't need a lot of pressure with this thing. I mean, you really don't. But given the power that it has, you don't need to apply too much pressure. And as long as you're using the right tip, you should be able to at least feel some sort of a positive result from it.
Ted, do you think this is something that is best done like to your own self, or is it better to have a friend or a partner do it to you? Because it does look like it could be kind of tricky to get around to some of the, like on my back, I have one specific knot that it's really difficult for me to get to. So I wonder if that would make more sense for my girlfriend to use the tool there, or is this something that you've experienced using yourself and sort of doing some back yoga?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so definitely there are going to be some parts of the body that are going to be tough to get to. Even though the arm is adjustable, you can go 90 degrees up to 180 degrees. Despite that, it's still not easy to get at certain spots, especially on the back. So there are going to be certain times where I think applying it to you would be better. In some cases, even if you want to go to your physiotherapist or your chiropractor, maybe bring the device with you and show them, and then perhaps they can also provide their own insight on how you can maybe use it, especially if you don't have someone who lives with you that can help you out. But yeah, for the most part, you can do it yourself. You will be able to hit most spots yourself, but there are going to be some areas, especially on the shoulders and the back, that are going to be a little tougher to get to. So you are right. There are going to be certain times when having a person handy will certainly be helpful.
Well, it is interesting. I let one of the gentlemen in our office here try it out as well, and he loves it. He had a few knots that he's developed over the years, from a lot of exercise and sports and running, and he said it works so well. So I'm anxious to try it out a little bit more myself. The price on these things aren't cheap, Ted.
No, they're not. The model I tested is $759 plus tax, so it's not cheap. And that's why I want to make sure that I preface even the pricing in that this is not a replacement for a chiropractor or physiotherapist or massage therapist. This is not going to emulate entirely what well-trained hands can do, but it can complement what they do. And further to that, it has the possibility of reducing the frequency in which you visit to a specialist. So I would never advise, as I did in the review, that you look at this as a full-on replacement, that you're spending all this money. It's like, okay, great, I'm never going to have to go back there again. That's not the case. It's not going to supplant that kind of human feedback, but it certainly can help. And it is a big price to pay, right? I mean, it's a lot to pay, but I guess it depends on how much better you feel. Will it feel like it paid itself off based on you feeling better every day? Hard to say, because everybody's body is subjective.
We're talking with Ted Kritsonis, one of our favorite tech journalists from Toronto, all about the THERAGUN. I know you tried out the top-end model, and I believe that one comes with a lot more attachments, but I believe they do start in the few $100 range as well.
Yeah, they have a couple different tiers, and it looks like the low-end one is about $499 Canadian, and I believe that they've had almost perma sales on some of those things on Amazon and stuff like that too.
Well, if you're interested in finding out more about this, don't forget to hit our website, getconnectedmedia.com. We've got Ted's review up there so you can read it for yourself. But overall, Ted, thumbs up, thumbs down?
No, thumbs up. I mean, I like the approach they took, and I like also that they focus on certain things. Like there's actually one section called Tech Mech. So if you're working in an office and you're looking at a computer like the three of us are oftentimes, during the day, there is a section on how to use the device to offset that, right? Carpal tunnel, plantar fasciitis, some of the things that a lot of people suffer from. There are sections in the app that, display and demonstrate how you can use the device to offset those things.
Ted, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
We have an interesting topic right now, and it's around using technology to help sufferers of ALS speak with their own voice. One famous person that had ALS for many, many years, Stephen Hawking, he spoke through a synthesizer, I guess. Mm-hmm. Sounded like a robot.
Yes. I remember there was a problem with that particular computer that he was using, and there was some hardware failures or something like that, and they had a lot of trouble trying to keep it maintained and up to date. But he also didn't want to lose his voice because he could have sounded more natural a lot sooner.
Yeah,
but
everyone was used to hearing him that way.
That was his voice. Yeah.
Well, technology marches on, and of all companies, Rolls-Royce has come out with some technology that can help people with ALS actually use their own voice when they're talking, when they're in later stages and having challenges. We've got our good friend Igor Bonifacic from Engadget.com on the line. Thanks for joining us, Igor.
Thanks for having me.
I wanted to get you on because we checked out your story on Engadget.com, and I found it fascinating. Tell us about this technology, and it's kind of weird. Of all companies, Rolls-Royce has developed it.
Yeah, so I think, for Rolls-Royce, from what I understand, it was kind of a personal project with one of their employees, and it was something they wanted to do. But essentially what it is this AI that it uses a technique called voice banking, where, if you suffer from ALS, while you still have control of your speech, you record samples of your voice. And then as it listens to your voice and as it listens to conversations you have, this AI will start to be able to approximate your voice. So it will pick up the colloquialisms you use, it'll pick up the accent you use, and it'll try to approximate also how you would speak in certain situations, knowing that sometimes you speak differently with your spouse than you would with a coworker, and differently at a bar, for instance. And then it can start to, without you having to type in anything, it can start to predict what you might say in a certain situation. So in the example they showed off, the person was asked if they wanted something to drink, and it, knowing its user well enough, it was I want some tea as one of the suggestions. So it's a really cool technology because it kind of narrows the gap in terms of how long it takes for a person with ALS to respond to a conversation. With Stephen Hawking, by the end of his life, it was taking him, it was like a word a minute because he had so little motor control.
That is amazing, but I love the fact that it can recognize the different situations that you might be in as well. Like, John, you like going to brew pubs or craft breweries a lot, so it would know that you're kind of in that situation and give you suggestions.
Like, I want an IPA.
There you go.
And so, any word on how they would roll this out? Do you see what I did there? Rolls-Royce, roll it out? Yeah.
Well, Emily, dad jokes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So they haven't, it seems that this is very much kind of in the early stages, and they haven't said exactly when it'll come out. But their kind of idea is that it'll be integrated with existing software packages that ALS patients use already. So it's hard to say. I imagine at the very best, like it'll probably still take a number of years to kind of perfect this technology. And unfortunately, in that case, it won't help a lot of people that are already suffering from ALS. But it is something that it seems they like quite into it, and it's something that they're committed to.
We're talking with our good friend Igor Bonifacic from Engadget.com. Rolls-Royce has created a new artificial intelligence type of software called Quips that can help ALS sufferers, and this is going to be coming in the following years, actually speak with their own voice and actually help suggest things that they might be saying to help speed up the communication. Igor, as always, pleasure to have you on the program.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
When we come back from the break, more tech to talk here on Get Connected. Stay tuned. Don't forget to hit our website, giving away an Amazon Echo Show 8. All you have to do is visit getconnectedmedia.com. This thing is an awesome touchscreen Amazon voice assistant. Watch videos, listen to music, control your home, ask it anything, really. Go to our website, getconnectedmedia.com, hit the newsletter tab, subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll be entered to win that and all the other prizes that we're giving away this year. Thousands of dollars worth.
We got some cool stuff coming from CES to give away too.
Oh, yeah. Just wait. We'll tell you about that more next week. Okay. Back, was it a month ago? Back in December, we got all hot and heavy about this new phone company that basically promised worldwide unlimited talk, text, and data roaming for $30 US a month.
Fonus with a F.
Fonus.
Yes.
And we were excited.
We got a lot of comments and feedback from listeners that wanted to know more because this sounded too good to be true. Well, maybe it was.
You guys actually purchased some.
Yeah, a few of us on the team bought the Sims. We also reached out to the CEO and we had him on the show.
Yes.
And, it sounded pretty good. And if
$30 a month US, unlimited everything. Hell yeah. Around the world.
Right. It sounds great. But he's had some problems and we're not quite sure if this is actually ever going to ship. We were actually promised the show was promised some media review SIM cards as well, which we have yet to receive.
Yes.
Which you would think if it's a legitimate service, we would have got those ahead of the...
How much did you pay for the SIM? $25?
$25.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
So what do you think? What do you think's happening? Any new startup, there's always challenges.
Well...
Are you still giving them the benefit of the doubt?
No.
Okay. You want your $25?
I'm getting close to reversing the charges on my credit card. Yes. Yeah. There is.
But they sent you an email after you bought.
They did.
Yeah. And listen to this. Listen to this.
Well, so because we were one of the first 500 customers, we were going to get the service for free.
For life.
For life.
Yeah. You guys were dancing around me. Hey, Mike, you're a big sucker. You didn't buy one of these. We get free cell phone service for life.
Yes.
Are you paying for your cell phone service right now, John?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
But it's not a Fonus service.
No, it's not.
So we've been following along. We actually were supposed to meet up with Simon, the CEO of Fonus, at CES, and he bailed at the last minute because there is a very, very heated Reddit subreddit for Fonus where people are asking questions, and he was very active in there. And that's where this whole first 500 get the service for free kind of thing grew out of. He was giving away t-shirts. He was flying people to Hong Kong to see that the service was legit, all this crazy stuff. And now it's just turned into this almost a hate fest on Reddit where people are pissed off.
People are so easy to turn, are they?
Oh, absolutely.
The pitchforks are out. They're burning down houses.
That's right. And strangely, Simon's been absent from commenting on things. There's been a number of people that have been, I guess, close to the situation that have supposedly commented on the situation and how, they got a Fonus SIM, which seemed to have been a China mobile SIM that had been literally the logo had been sanded off the SIM card, and they just stamped Fonus on it. And
But did they work?
They worked, but they showed up as a China mobile.
Who cares what it says?
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they weren't unlimited. They were actually pay-as-you-go SIM cards that ran out of data.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll keep you abreast of that situation in the coming weeks. That's all the time we have left. Don't forget to hit our website, getconnectedmedia.com. Want to thank everyone that helps put the show together. John, Stephen, Christina, Paul, AJ, Nigel, and so many more. See you again next time. Mike Agerbo here, John Biehler. If you liked what you just saw, you can have more. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel. I think the button, is it down here?
Sure.
Sure. For the love of God, please subscribe. We need more subscribers so we can make more great shows. If you hate what you're seeing, double click that button, right? Double click?
Sure.
Sure. Please.